hope. I can hear some feedback, but I can't see. I can hear some feedback.
I can. Oh.
I don't. Oh, what's going on there? Why are we not showing on the camera? Oh, there we go. Why? Apparently, I have to have the Discord channel up on my screen for it to show. Do you want to check your cable quickly, Dom, just to make sure it's not loose? Because I don't have any cables, so therefore I cannot be generating feedback. And good evening, everyone. Well, just check that that's died off. Best check that that's died off.
Hello, everybody. That's still good. Anyway, welcome. How is Tom's doing his thing?
Oh, we're here. We're good.
Cool. Okay, welcome everybody to episode 148, Sit, Talk, and Hobby. Basically, where we sit here, we do a bit of hobby, we talk hobby and other things, and we encourage you to do exactly the same. So, yes. Tom, what hobby are you working on tonight?
Well, after a very long wait, as you're very aware of, Dom, I finally received some stuff in the post after... Now, I'm not going to lie, guys. Any of you actually try... I thought I'd give this a go this year. And I said to myself, I'm going to pay for the premium and get the full works for it, because I'm quite interested in seeing how this kind of works out. And it was probably, 4 weeks ago, I think? Maybe? Might be longer. Yeah. To get edition 1. To be fair, they did send 1 and 2 in the first pack, which is good to say. I have 2, and I also got some fancy clippers with this as well. And then basically, yeah, on the back they show the next edition. So this is my next one that's come in the February. So yeah, I'm going to put together some of those because I'm doing that, and yeah, probably do the leapers maybe as well after that. I think because yeah, I thought I'd start putting them together. I know Dom's put together a lot of models, so I thought I'd join the club, get a few made up, ready to paint. And hello, other people. How are you doing, Dom?
Well, Tom, tonight I'm doing well. An easy job. I've got some contrast, Black Legion, and I am basically doing the joints in power armor and around bases. So it's a really easy task where I can sit here and just get on with that. So I've got a squad of Chosen. I'm just kind of plodding on with. There we go. Look, I love these Chosen. They're so cool.
Chosen
the combi melters.
Have you painted up the ones I got yet, or is that in that batch?
I've got loads. They're in a batch.
They're in the batch. No, I wasn't sure if you got round to them yet, because I hadn't actually asked about them. So
2 squads. 2 squads on the go at the moment. And hello everybody in chat. There's quite a few of you tonight.
Yes, thank you for coming along.
Some new faces as well. So welcome new faces and welcome loyal old faces, especially Jack with his very old face. So it's good to see you all. Hopefully you're all doing some hobby tonight. Tom, screen's gone black.
It has, because I was because there's some new people here, I thought I would put an invite in the chat to our Discord. Because I've just saw that Aaron there. Well, to be fair, Kenny first, who said hello, who I don't think I've seen the name Kenny in our chat before, so welcome along. And Aaron Gaddis, who is basically saying, I know nothing about 40k, I like the Black Templars and want to start a kill team. Seems the easy way to go. What should I get to start? Wow, that's an interesting question.
Well,
yeah.
Tom, have you seen what Games Workshop have released the last couple of days?
I did see some pictures of some of the latest kill team releases. I think there was some Nurgle antics going on, if I remember correctly.
And
some Ultramarines, obviously, but they could be any kind of Marines, to be fair. They don't have to be Ultra. They could be Black Templar Marines. However, if I was to do an Ultramarine kill team, I would probably just recommend buying a Crusader set, because I think it's a nice, well-rounded kit, and you get quite a lot of stuff. It's a nice box. So that's what I would say. Just buy the Primaris Crusader kit, which I cannot remember how much it costs or what it is, but because I think every Templar army should start with a Crusader unit, because it's one of their most iconic units. You should definitely give that a go. But yeah, or you could just buy one of the combat. Yeah, as Rules Lawyers, and they get the combat patrol. You get one of them in there anyway. along with some other very nice units as well. So definitely give that a shout out to that one as well. Um, and yeah, Kill Team and 40k are separate, but they're obviously based in the same universe. And I'd say Kill Team's maybe like a gateway game. I think. Yeah, you sort of
Yeah.
get until you get enough models to play full size 40k. I mean 500 points is a good starting point for any kind of 40k match. 'Cause that's what they regard as their kind of combat patrol esque level of play. So you don't have to go in big and sort of buy lots of models. You can just start with something like that, and that's a good starting point. But a combat patrol box set gives you, especially the Black Templar one, gives you some nice iconic Templar units and some and a good selection of stuff to play with. So I would definitely recommend that as well. So we've got sorry, just going through some new names here. Evolution of Gaming. Yeah, well, welcome along. I don't think I've seen your name in chat before either, so hello as well. Here is our Discord link, by the way. So if you click that link, hopefully that should take you to our waiting room, where I will shortly grant you access to the members area. No charge, it's all free. We just get people in there. That we do like painting challenges, all this kind of stuff, and other things. We have a
Feel
good
free
chat.
to share like any content you want to put on there. If you're working on hobby and you want some feedback, like it's a very friendly platform. Everyone's very engaging. So yeah, chuck it in there, and we'll all have a little look see
Indeed.
and encourage you and etc. It's all good, positive stuff.
Yeah, and obviously hello to all of our regulars. So I can see Captain Jack for Enabling Inquisitor. My wonderful wife Victoria is in chat as well. We also have Andy Ashby, welcome along. Rules Lawyer. And yeah, I was just saying for 40k, check out the Combat Patrol mini game. Basically, you build the stuff right out of the box, intro box, and start playing. You could try the boarding actions. I haven't tried boarding actions yet, actually. Maybe we should try that at some point, Dom. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks quite cool actually. I like the idea of boarding actions. Yeah, wouldn't mind giving it a go. I think it's just the setup price that kind of puts me off a little bit.
Yeah, I think it would be I think it's one of those ones actually where it would make sense to do like a joint buy on a box set if we wanted to try it. I think just to get the terrain, because obviously you do need said terrain to actually play the game. Otherwise, it's a bit pointless.
It's a big investment, isn't it? And I think, to be fair, I think it's probably a worthwhile investment because it does seem that every other edition they do try and come out with something Zone Mortalis-esque that you can kind of get involved in. So it's like, well, I've got it. Next time, next Fool's Edition, it will be back at some point. Or you just play with it and make up your own rules.
So also, as part of what I'm doing, so I did actually make the captain up out of this. I know you guys will notice he is missing his head because I don't want to use the head that comes with it because it is non-helmeted, and I don't tend to use non-helmeted heads in my army. So very cool looking model, especially for like I suppose what they traditionally call a snap fit model. It's very nice. So yeah, there we go.
That's good. Yeah, it's a nice model. I've made my Chaosy version of that. I've got them somewhere.
Yeah, it's not really what it is, though, let's be honest. That's just heresy.
It's very cool, the Chaos version and the soppy old
just for those who are new to this, there is no Chaos version. There is a version that Dom made Chaosy, which I don't think counts.
It 100% counts. It is an incredible model. And to encourage people into Discord, I'll put a picture up of it later. And you can see how amazing a Chaos version is.
Thank God I'm an admin on there. I can just delete the picture.
And then I'll delete your picture.
And hello Felpire, welcome along as well. Haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing all right.
Painting up the Hivestorm terrain, very cool, Andy. Look forward to seeing some pictures of that. That's such a cool looking box, actually.
I haven't actually looked at that in too much detail, but
oh, Tom, you're missing out. It looks very nice.
I probably am.
It's got all the new little bits of gear in there.
I think the problem I've got right now is because I've kind of committed to the Combat Patrol kind of payment scheme. I don't really want to buy too many other things at the moment, unless it really fits into one of the armies I want to sort of collect for at the moment. So I'm going to be sort of seeing what comes in the post for a while, I think. I'm quite excited to see how that kind of develops.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got, it's a nice little extra for your hobby. It's very nice. But going back to the Kill Team stuff that was released the other day or previewed, obviously they had the Death Guard and Space Marines. both of which were, you'd get them singularly in the boxes if you remember. I don't know if you ever got those ones at all, Tom.
Are you
But I
want the
got
ones
the
that used to be the Heroes collection?
yep. So they're part of the kill team now.
Yeah.
So they're pretty cool. And then the terrain is MDF terrain.
MDF
So it's a bit
terrain, you say?
MDF terrain. So it's a bit
That's
more
an
old
interesting
school.
direction.
Yeah, I'd like to see what the price of the box set will be, because it looks very terrain and board look very basic, but obviously they're pretty high quality models. So it'd be interesting to see what price that comes out as.
Also, just see what they genuinely are, what the quality's like in when you actually have a look at it as well. Because obviously, we tried MDF terrain a few times, I think, and it's hit and miss. I think so. I'll be interested to see what they take
So
in
it
it.
looks like it's printed. It's got a print on it, which is interesting rather than your standard. When we've had it before, I think you got the stuff that was just basically
Etched,
MDF. You had
wasn't
to
it?
paint it yourself.
Yeah, etched. I
Yeah,
think is the
yeah.
best term. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to have a look. I think it's the only fair thing to do. Um,
Yeah, but I think it'd be quite nice to think if that's a budget version of the game coming out, because obviously the Kill Team box, the Hive, sorry, what was it called? The Hive Storm stuff is a bit more on the pricey end, which is fine.
mhm.
Got some good quality stuff there, but if you can't afford it, it'd be quite nice to know there is an alternative.
So rules I did say a topic to chat on later. The latest buzz in the Horus Heresy and Legion's Imperialis community is that Dark is a Dark Mechanicum. New minis announced, new units the size of knights look like spiders.
Have you seen them, Tom?
I haven't actually seen those. I must admit that has not crossed my path yet. So
Yeah,
maybe I'll have a little look at that later. That sounds interesting. I mean, I must admit, Dark Mechanicus does sound quite cool. Because it's one of those
yeah.
factions that hasn't really been covered an awful lot yet. So
No, I mean, however, it is interesting because if they are releasing new models for Imperialis and they are Dark Mechanicum, be interesting if they work their way into 40k. But the big spiders are quite cool. I like the look of them. They're very different to what I was expecting, um, and they look more like the Necron super heavy than
oh yeah,
anything else. Yeah, so I thought they're pretty nifty. So it'd be interesting to see what else is popping up. It's good to see, they're experimenting and trying like original things rather than just going back on the old
the
catalog.
usual kind of stuff. Yeah, fair enough.
Absolutely, absolutely. I quite like the look of it. I don't know. What do you think, rules lawyer? Are you pro this new stuff, or have you got a bit of concerns?
Never know rules like
Uh,
he might not be happy about it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
jest, my
There we
friend.
go.
I jest, my friend.
Uh, But yeah, it's a bit of talk there in the chat then about the MDF terrain. Be interesting to see what it's like. To be fair, first time I saw it, I didn't even realise MDF. I just looked at it and went, "Oh, that looks a bit thin." And then looked close, I was like, "Oh, right, okay, that's MDF."
That is the
And
route they have chosen.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, if the price is significantly lower than the plastic, fair enough. Um, because let's face it, if you go to an event these days, you probably are going to be playing on MDF terrain anyway.
Yeah, I think
So
that's probably not too far off the truth, to be honest. It does tend to be their kind of typical kind of. I suppose from an event point of view, it's quite an easy one to set up and get hold of. I think that's probably the way I think that would be regarded. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it'd be good to see um, how much is kind of released and how it's released as well, because it kind of looked to me had the vibes of I don't know if you remember Tom, like the cardboard terrain from second edition,
yes, I do.
and I was like, oh right, they're doing that again, nice. But yeah, obviously it depends on the cost. I think that's the major factor at this
Yeah.
point. Um,
I think the
oh
quality would probably dictate it a little bit as well. I mean, if it's good quality stuff, it might be all right. But that's what I was saying. It's only because I wouldn't say burnt from previous version stuff that I feel that it can be very hit and miss on the quality that's etched and cut. I mean, hopefully GW have a decent manufacturer for it. So I mean, I would assume they're doing it themselves, but you never know. Um,
Well, I would assume the opposite. I would not imagine they're doing it themselves. Uh, that's 100% a third party doing that for Games Workshop. Not going to be them. Um, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do, really. But yeah, I really like the Nurgle kill team.
It does.
Um,
A lot of character in that one, to be fair. I think that,
yeah,
yeah.
I think I've got all but two of the models, so I'd be tempted to get them and do a bit of kit bashing, turn
Round out
some
your
into
kit.
Chaos Space Marines. Yeah, and get because I haven't got the Mace guy and I didn't get the Sorcerer. So I was
Okay.
like, well, forget them. That'd be a nice little addition to the team. But yes, seems that it's a bit of a mixed view on the MDF terrain in the chat there, which is fair enough. It's not for everyone. Um, I do advise that anyone just go and have a quick little look at the Warhammer community post, and I think it's on there. Just see what their your own personal thoughts are on it.
So let's have a little just look through chat. I'm happy about it. It's not Rings of Power. They look they look sick. I have no opinion on the terrain. Evolution Gaming. If it helped players get a little terrain in their boxes, to so be it. Yeah, fair enough. That is a fair point. On MDF terrain, I would like to see it. I'm worried you'll be maybe using cheap instead of affordable, but it means that more people can get into Kill Team. Brilliant game. I mean, to be fair, we haven't played Kill Team for a little while, have we, Dom?
Well, it's a new one. We haven't played a new one for a
No, I
while.
think we
However,
probably should try it again. It's been a long while.
yeah, when we did play it, I definitely enjoyed it.
I enjoyed
I
it the
think the
most
issue,
out of all of them.
yeah, the last one, the last rendition of Kill Team was good. Be interesting to see what this one's all about. But I think what's quite nice is find Kill
Oh, we just
either between the rule sets of 40k or
sorry,
in
you're
general.
freezing up a bit, Dom.
Oh, there you go. Better? Yeah, it's better. Yeah, it's either between when the rule set's coming to an end, or you just want a nice casual game of something. And it's a good one for getting new players into as well, rather than standard 40k is a big investment
It
for players
is.
to get.
Yeah, when you're playing,
Nice.
especially if you're playing at like a reasonable points level, I think it's quite intimidating for people to get into. So
Mm,
yeah, we got it'll be the
absolutely.
Lumberyard Furniture Shop across the road from Warhearts.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, to be fair, you never know. It's probably not the most unusual thing to have happened in their many years of creating models and getting people to create their models. I mean, you'd like to think, being a model making company, they would do it themselves, but I get where you're coming from. So,
It'd be interesting to know how much Games Workshop have grown out of their capacity for manufacturing themselves.
yeah, I mean, I would say probably, I'm not so sure they have the, yeah, it's hard to tell really because no one really knows. That's the problem, isn't it? You just don't really know. Yeah, how much? I mean, there were things about saying I think they were starting some new areas, weren't they? Soon. Um, I think I think there was some talk about a new kind of manufacturing plant opening. But
Mhm.
that was quite a while ago now, to be honest. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think obviously they have got manufacturing in China, haven't they? But is that part of Games Workshop or is that just a subcontractor that has some form of contract with them? I don't know, but yeah, I think the growth of the company is humongous.
Yes,
However, obviously there are quite a few stock issues still. Because the minute something comes out, it's just like sold out, immediately gone.
I think prime example of those cards. Something as simple as those cards that we got. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, they took a. I mean, you had a. I mean, you were lucky to get yours when you did because I think you just ordered them when they came a little bit more back into stock. Um,
It took me. So, guys, I did an event at the weekend, which I'll go into in a bit. Um, but so we needed the latest Nexus, whatever it is, card set. Went into Games Workshop. Games Workshop was like, no, they go as soon as they come in. I was like, right, okay. And even the guy in Games Workshop was like, you can buy them on eBay at about £70. Um,
that's
so I was like, I'm not paying £70. So I was on Google, and I think it was page 4 of scrolling through every web store, and I eventually found one set up in up north. It was Imp Gaming. I don't know if anyone's ever used Imp Gaming before, but they had one in stock, and I was like, "Nick, buy, 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 buy." And to be fair to them, sometimes that I've ordered from other gaming company, such as like I don't know, let's say Element, they've not updated their
Their stock.
inventory,
Yeah.
so their stocks. They just say, "Oh, it's always in stock," and then suddenly it's not. But Imp Gaming, fair enough to them. I was like, an off chance, I was like, "Yep." And then, yeah, dispatched it the next day. It was, great stuff.
I
But
think
it shows you how
yeah.
those cards are.
I think I said obviously that's how I managed to get Vicky's Angron set, the Red Angels set. I ordered from a very obscure place, thinking more of a let's see kind of thing, and then it turned out that they were actually more reliable than some of the mainstream people because they said it was in stock, and it turned up when it said it would. So I think definitely don't knock some of the smaller retailers because I think they get a bad rap sometimes for for not having stuff. But I think some of the bigger vendors actually are very guilty of not being as honest with their stocking system as you said earlier. So I'd be tempted to always keep an eye on your locals somewhere. That's the little local gaming stores that might have them. So
yeah, I think in general that goes across the board for whatever part of life you're in. It does pay to shop around a bit, so you can just go on a few different retailers and notice there is quite a bit of a price change between boxes. Not every web store is exactly the same, so you will get a discount, and sometimes the discount is a bit heavier than others in different ones. So it's always worth shopping around, I find, like
yes.
not just going to one all the time.
No, I totally agree with that. Friendly Open Quiz. No, there was no announcement because we finished a bit later than we wanted to, but that's kind of usual for our gaming sessions when we do an actual stream because they always tend to go on a little bit longer than we. I would say not maybe that we want, but maybe it's one of our things that me and Dom say on a weeknight it can be quite challenging because we have to be sort of a little bit careful with the amount of time that we're spending doing it because Dom's got to get back home from here, because I've got the stream set up mine and various other factors. So yeah, it was nothing has been announced as of yet, but we were going to do that tonight, I believe. That was
yes, we
plan.
are indeed going to do that tonight. Yeah, so yes, don't worry, it's fine. It's happening tonight. We did play a game last week, and it was a lot of fun, Tom.
I actually very much enjoyed it, even though I think I told you I felt a bit sick about what I had to use to compete, but I had to
happily use it, Tom.
I did, and I would do it again.
It's just on the side now. It's like, right, whatever army I'm taking, one of these.
Dom loves these guns, by the way, on the top here. Absolutely adores them.
Ridiculous guns. Ridiculous.
To be fair, actually, I wouldn't say it was necessarily the gun. I think it's the rules that go with said gun. I think is more the problem.
Yeah, sorry, ridiculous tank.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Aquilon. So I'm just looking for a base which seems to have gone walkabout. The Aquilon. Was it Optics? Aquilon Optics. That's the one on that. Which is obviously you get to re-roll a wound roll, a
hit roll,
a
wound
and
roll, a damage roll.
Which is, well, I'd say it's a bit mad.
The thing is, it's got 2 shots, hasn't it?
It does, yes.
Is it heavy?
It is heavy as well, yes.
So you're normally hitting on 2s.
Mm-hmm.
See, we were on that 1 dice. Unless you're me, and then it'll be 2 1s. Followed by 2 1s. And it's, high strength, high AP, pretty high damage defaultly, and you're like, yeah, you don't need this. You don't need this at all.
Well,
yes, I'm not going to moan. I'm not going to keep moaning about it.
It was a draw.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
It was a draw, I'd say I did need it, apparently. Just because you didn't wipe the floor with me doesn't mean I didn't need it.
No, Tom. No, what I dislike about it, and there's several things. A, the rules are silly. But B, that people feel that they have to take it.
I think this is a topic we can probably have a chat about.
Come on. There's other things in the codex. Take something else. Stop making this a must-have. And this is what wound me up about. I can't remember what edition it was, but I
Seventh.
remember maybe no. I think it might have been late. I think it's the eighth when the Necrons. Like, guys, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. The Necrons when you had 3 Doom Scythes and you had the Death Ray strat and it
Oh,
mortal wounds. Like,
oh, that thing. Yeah.
yeah, can anyone remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
And it was a must-have. Like every time you play Chaos, Necrons, that's what you had to have. And I was like, this is so boring, but it's too good not to take. It's like, why wouldn't you take this? So stuff like that is just, yeah, I find frustrating, but I do appreciate people feel they have to take it.
Sorry, yeah, friendly neighborhood says, wait, it ended in a draw. It did end in a draw, yes. If I'm totally honest, I think it would not have ended in a draw if you hadn't got your 8 bound into my tanks. I left a gap, which Dom managed to deep strike into, because but everything else was far enough away that I think if they hadn't been there, I think there would have been a slightly different game. So it was kind of very bad positioning from me. But ultimately, it turned it into a good, close game. So I'm not even going to complain. At the end of the day, I don't. I'm not.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I'm not as kind of hot on my zoning out. I think that's one thing I do quite badly because I don't really think in that. I don't have that mindset to do like, oh, I've got to measure this every 9 inches around everything, and so sometimes I leave gaps which I probably could get away with not doing. So
I think it's hard though, Tom. Like I get the same thing with my World Eaters and Black Templars. I've got a lot in common with World Eaters. Where you do want to kind of like make sure your back deployment is actually fine and secure, but the problem is everyone's so angry.
Yes,
and they just don't want to hang around.
No, they're designed to go forward. That's the thing.
They are designed.
They're designed to go forward. Both our armies in that respect are. So what else we say? So one time I made no preemptive guess of a winner based on nothing. There was no winner. Well, no, but also obviously for I hope you did watch some of it because obviously I did trial my new scoring display system, which I think actually worked all right. Apart from I need to work out a way to get that little I think the perma score up a little bit more in a larger format. So I'm going to be that's one thing I'm going to be looking at. But it took a lot of I suppose not. I wouldn't say pressure. It's a little bit of pressure when you're filming it. It just took a bit of one of those tasks off the list to try and manage while sort of filming a game. Because actually, I must admit, even though I don't think we went as late as we usually did. Actually, I think because I think
no, it was quite a quick.
I think we showed. I mean, obviously, the two armies we had, they tend to whittle each other down very quickly because of their play style.
Yeah,
that's just the way it rolls, though. So
yeah, just.
So rules like says I don't like that about 40k. I don't like auto includes and min maxing. I like thematic list building and narrative armies. I like to see 10 different armies and not the same army 10 times over. I love setting, but 10e doesn't quite speak to me. That's fair enough, and I do understand that. And I think I'll let you talk about your tournament first because unfortunately I missed this one because there was only a 3-player team one, and I just missed the cut by not replying quick enough to a message. So sad face, but that's just the way it rolls sometimes.
Yeah.
And also say he really enjoyed the game last week. It was a good one. It was a good one. I actually really and there was a good chat all evening. Yeah, there was a good chat all evening last week actually. I think we had some interesting topics flying through the chat as we were doing. I mean, I'm glad you guys, because the thing is, I'm very glad that you guys can chat kind of amongst yourselves a little bit while we're playing the game as well, because it's quite difficult for us to try and keep the chat going while playing the game. It's one of those things I didn't actually anticipate while doing live streaming. I thought, it'll be fine. We can just have the chat up. But ultimately, I would say actually the issue I've got at the moment is my setup at here. Basically, if you look behind me here, this wall here, you can see that little pole that's dipping down there. That's where our face camera is. So we when we're looking at you, we're looking at this wall over here. But what I want to do, which I won't be doing in this house or this flat at the moment, is I want to get a screen behind the camera which has the chat on it, so that we can actually kind of look at it and engage with the audience a little bit more. That's one thing I'd really like to do, because we didn't really. It's quite difficult because essentially the screen with all the chat on is actually just over here on my right hand side, which you probably can normally see from the camera, just over here, which I normally blow up to stupid proportions so we can read the text. Well, so to be fair, so Dom can read the text from like halfway across the room because he's normally on the opposite side of the table over here.
Yeah,
So
sometimes a bit harder.
Yeah. So there's little things I want to do because I actually quite enjoy the live streaming kind of thing. But I would like to do more. I'd like to have something that doesn't always have to be top down. But that's another thing that I'm going to have a look at because unfortunately that's a technological thing. There's stuff to solve that, but I'm not willing to spend the amount of money that would be required to do that at the moment because this room is not my final.
It's a guinea pig room.
It's a guinea pig room, which I've learned a lot because I mean you can even see up there, just above my head over here. Ooh, over here. That is actually an old. There we are. Oh god, no! Well, it's really hard to actually point something while looking at the camera. That is actually essentially an old phone. I've managed to repurpose about 3 old phones to do this particular setup with, which actually was really, really good value for money. And because the cameras on phones, as you know, Dom, are actually bloody good these days. They work really good for this kind of stuff. So, and a lot of cable ties, as you said. But anyway, sorry, enough about that. But there's stuff that will be happening in the future, hopefully. So, there we go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But your tournament, Dom.
Yeah, so I did a team tournament, 3-player team tournament. Like you said, unfortunately, you didn't make it. But I think there's room in the future for a bit of manoeuvring in our little thing. But that's a separate chat. So I took World Eaters. My World Eater list, I was like, I would take this as fun little list to take along. And at the event, there were five sets of boards going on. So obviously 10 teams. In the 10 teams, I think there were every team had a World Eater army, and most of those World Eater armies. So out of 10, actually, I think there was like 6, 7 World Eater players. My list and one other list were the only different lists. All the other lists were exactly the same, and it was like, oh my god. That's exactly what we're talking about. They were just like, we'll take this, and that's what we're doing. And it's a bit sad that that's the way the game kind of is at the moment. That that's the way it's going to be. And you can appreciate that's how players want to do because that's the best of it and that's what they want to do. But I love a bit of originality. So when my last game of the day, I was against World Eaters again. He had a Mauler Fiend. I was like, yes. No one's got a Mauler feed. This is what I like to see. And my Chaos list had 2 Carnivore Knights in. So I was like, oh, these are cool. But all the other lists were essentially 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound. Everyone had Angron. Like, I mean, to be fair.
If I'm totally honest, I think Angron, as much as he is like, he is such an iconic thing for that army. I would say actually that is quite a thematic take. Regardless, whatever,
absolutely.
You either led by Khan or you're led by Angron. I don't think there's many options to not do that in that army personally. Yeah.
So a lot of the games, it was kind of like you'd have an Angron off. That was standard stuff when you're playing World Eaters. Try and get Angron against Angron and see who wins. Like the first game, played a friend of mine, Callum. He brought his World Eaters along. Well, actually, no, they weren't his World Eaters, it was his friend's World Eaters, because he'd just started and he was like, I want to play them. But So we had an Angron off, which was a lot of fun. I did a bit of damage shooting his Angron. Then he got my one into combat, took it down to like 4 wounds. My Angron flew off like, oh, I can't die like this. No. And then his Angron pursued mine with some Exalted 8-bound, I think it was. I might be wrong. And basically, his 8-bound killed my Angron, but as my Angron fell to the ground, his dying blow, fighting on death, just killed his Angron. It's like, yes, it's what we want. So there was some really good, fun players there. I didn't do particularly well, but our team did quite well. And I played 2 World Eater players, and I played Votan as well. All my opponents were a lovely gentleman, and it was just nice, just nice to play these people because like I've only played Votan once before when I played again with you, and in
the doubles. Yes, it was. Yeah,
doubles,
we did.
Yes,
we did.
Yeah, and it was fun. Like I love the models. it was a bit of bad luck on both sides of things. Like in the first 2 turns, I had really good luck. Um, Angron got right up into like his deployment. He deployed the berserkers, which are like the little Votem with the big hammers. I think that might be the right name, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, he had these big hammer guys, and he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just so you know, these guys are pretty tasty. So Angron's gonna be dead in a minute. And I was like, at this point, I was like, yeah, probably. Like, I've not got the best of luck most of the time. So he gets them out, and he's like, right, time to do my attacks. Fluff them all, and I was like, fight back time. Just like, oh God. And then he did shooting, and somehow Angron just shrugged off all these like land fortress shots that were coming in. And I was like, this is incredible. Like, he's on 4 wounds. Anything gets through, and he is dead. But somehow he survived, and he just charged into these 2 land fortresses, which was parked butt to butt. And I was like, yeah! So there was some incredible fun stuff. And he was a good opponent. And like I said, all 3 games were really good fun. But it did highlight like the the point I made at the beginning and throughout, that all the armies were very samey generally, which was a shame. And I feel it's not down to the players. I feel there's that pressure that you have to take X to play and be competitive. I was like, I want to see something new. I don't want to see the same list over and over again.
I think the problem is it comes down to that. When you're playing in a tournament setting, ultimately, regardless of whether you go there or not to win, that mentality goes that way, and unfortunately, that drives you towards this whole, I suppose, net listing in a way that you look up what the best things are, and typically you might see a little variation on the list where if someone goes, I think I've got a better idea than taking this one particular unit, and they'll swap out 1 or 2 things, but ultimately there's a core there that is exactly the same across the board. And as you were saying, it's a shame. So
it is a real shame. But it'd be just nice to play someone who's trying something a bit different. But there's so much pressure, I think, on players to try and. I don't know. I like team events. Team events are fun because you go with your friends. But you're also kind of like, well, I don't really want to let everyone down, so I'm going to take something that I think might be quite tasty. Where I think. Maybe sometimes doubles events we kind of joke around too much, and we're like, we'll do a nice fun, not too much, but we have that level of like, let's see if we can link it together, and how can we do it?
And we do it more in an amusing way, don't we? That's the thing. We sort of go. Yes, I mean, like definitely. For instance, having Black Templars and Word Bearers on the same team is from a lore and thematic point of view is highly amusing, because actually, as much as they are on different sides of the fight, a lot of their values in the way that they view certain things are very similar, and that's
that's what I love about our channel as well. Tom. 2 armies, and they're essentially like the polar opposites. Yeah, so similar.
It's like one little thing could have maybe had something tip them the other way.
Yeah, one thing tipped them the other way, and a loyal Word Bearer is probably a Black Templar, and a treacherous Black Templar is probably a Word Bearer.
Because the zeal and the belief in their particular way is insane, and that that's what I find highly amusing about it. And I love it, especially when we have our pockets games, because it's literally just 2 zealot armies going right. No, we're more zealotry than you.
Exactly. Exactly that.
So I'll just address a couple of things in chat quickly. Captain Jake did ask, is Angron actually any good? From the games I've seen, he tends to get popped early on and is just targeted straight away.
Yes. Yeah. That's the way it should be. Yeah. Because the way of Angron coming back, I mean, it's still really, it's hot. You can, so the Blessings of Khorne, you got to get 666 with 8 dice at the beginning. Sorry if you know this already, Jack, but I'm going to tell you head suck eggs if you do. So you got 8 dice. Got to roll, and certain combinations give you certain rules. If you get 666, Angron comes back from the dead.
Yeah.
Now, there's ways of kind of tipping it one way or another. So, like, for instance, if you got an icon on an objective, you can re-roll a dice. There's war gear that let you re-roll everything. There's stratagems that will let you re-roll everything. Blah, 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 blah. So there is a way of bringing him back. And the depending on the list you're taking. So I had a Lord of Skulls and an Angron. And I rather they target Angron to start with. Angron, if you ignore him, he is in
Yeah.
combat first turn. There's no like he's getting in
I've
combat
seen it.
first turn. Yeah.
It's not pleasant.
So you have to address the Angron
Yes.
in the room. You go, he's a problem. We need to sort him out. No, so you take him out. You take fire away from other units. The World Eaters will push forwards anyway, and then potentially Angron does come back. I think Angron came back twice. I think. Yeah, came back twice in 3 games, so that's pretty good. But
I think he's built for the army in that way specifically, and I think you have to accept that he's probably going to die at least once in the game. You know, regardless. And ultimately, because even I target him. Yeah, you just don't, because you leave him alone and he does so much damage. Because I think it's one of those. It's like an unchecked fury. If you don't deal with it, it's going to cause you problems later down the line. Because even I could almost argue that bringing him down to 4 wounds and leaving him there for a turn is probably actually more sensible than killing him outright, because that way you know that, well, I think he gets -1 to hit, doesn't he? So I know that's not fantastic, but it means that you've got a problem that you can deal with quite quickly after that fact. But ultimately, if you don't kill him and he gets in your back line, you're done for, because he's too quick, he's too strong, and and the damage he kicks out, because he's obviously got the 2 profiles, is quite incredible. But I think the World Eaters army is built around him, and that's why a lot of people include him, because he is a bullet magnet. So you got to take him. He protects the rest of your army for that first turn, because people don't go, oh, Angron's over there, I'll just leave him for a couple of turns because I feel I've got this. It's more, crap, Angron's over there. If he gets over here, I'm probably in a lot of trouble.
No, the whole rules are based completely around it. Like you look at the other Primarchs, and some of them have like that damage prevention or reduction. Angron's like, well, you're gonna die, so we're just gonna bring you back.
I'll be back. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And he's come back. So Angron is great. And the World Eaters in general, I like all their characters. Like the Lord and the Juggernaut is very
Juggernaut's
tasty.
good as well. Yeah,
he's Khan's still good. The Master of Execution is not to be underappreciated, because he has got fight first and precision, and I think he's got devastating wounds. So
he's basically your Judicar. So
yeah, he's nasty. He's nasty. So there's a lot of good stuff in the World Eaters list anyway. But yeah, you are kind of pushed in certain directions, that's the way it is.
And I think so. Going back to, obviously, we're talking about differences in it. I think events can be a little bit to blame for that format as well, because obviously I think people who run events do obviously have a choice on how they frame what the event's going to be and how it's going to be run and what type of events is. And obviously you tend to go with the popular option, which I suppose the most popular is competitive at the moment. I don't know. I haven't read enough research on the subject, to be honest. I mean, when we look for tournaments, it tends to be stuff that's in the local area and it has cropped up. Is a good following for it? But actually, is there a want for a different style of event? We'll see. I don't know. It's interesting, because obviously when you do a competitive based event, you're going to attract that kind of person.
I think I wouldn't say it's an issue, because obviously it's for everyone.
Yeah.
It's getting those ITC points. That's what is
that's a fair
big
point. Yeah.
Like everyone wants to win. Everyone wants to win a game. Let's go. We'll go in and we go, I don't want to lose. I want to have a good game and I want to win.
Yeah.
But when you've got those ITC points like clicking over in your head, like your placing and your ranking, that's a big encouragement for people to like go to those events, which is great. Like we all like it. But and that's the way that people, if people are running events, tend to attract people, because they're like, I'm going to get some points. I want to go along. I want to see like-minded people. I want to play some different people. Blah 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 blah. It's all positive stuff. But essentially, the ITC points, I think, are a big factor that people want to go along, get their points, play a cool game, and meet people, have fun with their friends.
Yeah, that is a fair point. I think there's a lot of drive. There's a lot of drive to kind of for that arena. I think because that is one of the.
Yeah, I think the sad point is that not all the time people want to be going to an event because they don't want to be smashed and clubbed to death by players that have got a very competitive edge. So you discourage, I think, some people that don't want to go along. And rightly or wrongly, that's how it is, I
Yep.
think. So
No, that's fair enough.
yeah.
I get. It's got some chat rolling in as well. So rules lawyer, I think this is obviously referring to the point we were just kind of touching on. Is that there is absolutely that culture in 40k at the moment. The game encourages it. You are funneled into a few viable builds. And it's really a shame. Yeah, I think that's basically rings back what we're talking about at the root cause. Friendly Open Quiz asked me to report to my local Ordo Hereticus officers for questioning. I didn't say I liked them.
We'll save you, don't worry.
I just said.
Just jump on the Helldrake.
Call me Jon Snow when it comes to 10th. Fair enough. Rules lawyer says that the Middle Earth game is built around characters. Armies are only as strong as their characters, and naturally, almost all known characters are better than generic ones, of course. But I think Middle Earth, obviously the Lord of the Rings game, that makes sense because actually, if you watch Lord of the Rings, if you read about the Silmarillion, all the other backstory, they are centered around big, larger than life characters. They are the standard human beings, or even standard elves, standard dwarves, and then you have the ones that stand out because they have either abilities, they're larger than life, they're charismatic, and I think that's one thing that's one reason I'd actually love to get into that particular game setting, is because I love the idea of having that character at the front who's like, oh, I'm Aragorn, I'm going to lead your army, and by the way, I'm quite good with the sword and very good leader of men. That you know what I mean. But you kind of envisions that thing because that's how I think that setting really lends it to that style of because you even have people like characters like Saruman, not the thing, but you can see him being like a strong leader for his army. I like it. It's a good. It's a good concept.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it is not Middle Earth. Definitely that. I mean, 40k.
No, I did.
I don't know. I like having decent characters doing stuff. However, I don't like it's a balance. I don't like characters doing all the work and doing everything, but also at the same time, I love having a really amazing character. But I don't want to be shot by some hellblasters and killed in one turn. So there should be a nice balance. Like, look at me, I'm the leader.
Well,
do that guy.
This is basically what I was going to say. I think 40k. I think the problem with the characters they've got is that when you read the lore stories and stuff like that, they are much larger than life, even in the universe. You read someone like, especially if you look at like Gilliman during Heresy, he's probably sort of someone that people would tangle with. Really, in a fight, he's a pretty even Gilliman, and I would say Gilliman's like the most boring vanilla, leader out of all of them because it doesn't suit myself. Whereas there's other, but all of them, you read about a Primarch and you go, well, he's they're supposed to be pretty damn good. You don't tangle with them, and I don't think actually in the 40k world that those characters translate particularly well to the tabletop on a power level. If you had a 2,000 point army and you put the lion at the head of it, if you read the backstory on the Primarch, you'd say, well, he's probably got this, in a 2,000 point game. If you think that's kind of how they're kind of portrayed. I
don't think generally any of them ever live up to the hype.
No, precisely.
You go like a Primarch. That's one of the issues I had with Primarchs entering the game. That these characters of legend to suddenly go in and go, I got killed by a squad of Hellblasters.
But that's what happens.
For Gilliman, what's happened here? They get killed off. And I think even when it comes down to you read any 40k book, and a Space Marine's like the be all and end all most of the time. They're kind of brilliant, but in normal 40k, they still die in droves. So it's a hard balance, I think.
Because obviously, I know they try and do it with the point, the points difference and all this kind of stuff. But actually, ultimately, if you put a genuine 2,000 point of just foot soldier Space Marines against a 2,000 point guard army, as an example, the guard army would get ripped to shreds if it was a real point on point thing because when you look at the law version of the Space Marine, it is basically indestructible from small arms fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the
Yeah,
time, like
yeah,
in a story, if it
yeah,
was just guardsmen against Marines, they're like, well, if we just kill ourselves now,
yeah.
then
Yes.
yeah, we'll be fine. It'll be less painful if we just kill ourselves. And yeah, in the game, lethal hits will probably take a few Marines out.
Yeah,
With las
exactly.
guns.
But obviously, they have to balance the game, and I understand
Yeah,
that's what they're
absolutely.
doing. But it is a shame because I feel like some of those characters lose their, I suppose, luster from being in
Yeah,
that situation.
absolutely.
It's not. But then you could argue, well, make them really powerful, but then you have another problem
Yeah,
because
you can't win.
they become the point, they become the points level of a Titan, don't they? That's basically what happens if you're gonna
Yeah.
if you're gonna balance them into the game. You spend 1,000 points on a Primarch because they are like the best, and I bet you they still get done by the weight of fire because that's just the way 40k is built.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Although, did you see Tabletop Tactics had their like they did Space
They did
Marine
live.
2 on the battle.
Oh yes,
And they've done that
yes,
sometimes,
yeah,
something with like horde mode. And so they
correct,
give them
yes.
particular rules and stuff. And I'm like, well, if you did what you could do something like that as a little narrative.
I think
to
that's
make
their
something
box
work.
set. I think it's actually a box set, Dom. I think we discussed this last time. I think it is actually a boxed game. You can get buy as an actual game set. So
Yeah.
and I like that because obviously I think that's to portray the Marines in the way that they were done for Space Marine 2. That three of them could take on a horde of Gaunts very easy. Obviously they come up with some slightly stronger things, but it's like cool.
Absolutely.
What else we got here? So we probably should do the competition announcement in a minute, actually, to be fair, but I'll just go for these last ones here. So Andy Asprey says, according to all the win-loss rations, the factions are quite close together, but I wonder if the results are from people running meta lists. Of course it is, Andy. As much as I don't want to sound so cynical about it, it is people running very similar lists to get, and ultimately, I think the win rates are a weird thing because obviously they're doing it to balance the game, and they want to achieve that perfect. If you go into a game, you get a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
However, it's 50-50 if you're running the prescribed list. It's not like if you rock up, I play Space Marines, they currently have a 50-50 win ratio. I've got a 50% chance of winning. There's A, the list you've taken, and B, your individual skill. Unfortunately, those two things are quite big, heavy factors in the way that 40k plays out nowadays. And I think skill is actually a very important part of it. However, I do think that the list that you take is also. I'm trying to think of a percentage point on it. I would say it's maybe 65% list and the rest skill.
I think I think the minute you start making a list is when you pretty much can start saying where your chances of winning are coming from.
Yeah.
And like,
if you both take the same list, I think it does become much more closer from a skill to list level. If both the players played like the same list against each other, it does come down to the player in that case. I think that's the only time it would turn up. But other than that, I think the list does dictate a little bit more over how well you will probably turn out, because I've played some good lists badly and still done not that badly, because people go, "Oh my god, you've taken that." I said, "Yeah, I know, I can't really, and Andy's right on that point as well." So
that's a very valid point, to be honest, Andy. It's 100% on dice for me. My dice are diabolical generally. Like, so on Saturday,
here we
I
go.
have my lucky sock. I have my special World Eater t-shirt. I even got my kids.
Honestly,
to get 10
he
dice
sent all this
each.
before the game. I
was like, right, you put these dice in here. These will be good luck dice. I took old dice out because I was like, these are bad dice. These are not coming in mine. And it worked for like a little while. And then just went, no, all the ones for you. Ones. And yeah, I don't like this game, to be honest.
So
I might go with an army of flamers, so I don't have to roll hit dice anymore. I just roll wound dice. That takes half the chance out.
Yeah, I suppose you had to roll as many times. That's the other thing. You save time.
Yeah.
Last couple of points here. So we got a friend of who says, "Why not? Horus almost got beaten by a scratch from anathema. Let Angron get kneecapped by some grots." I mean, yeah, I do love the puncher's chance, as they call it. But Angron versus grots, there would be no grots left on the planet. Yeah, even if there was that many, I just don't see. Yeah, Heresy game makes Primax virtually invincible. I'm going to obviously take. I haven't played Heresy, but I'm going to guess that probably is true. And I kind of like it. I like that. I mean, I know it's probably ridiculous, but it's kind of how they were portrayed. And I think if you're going to play that era of 30k, I think having them being powerful, it lends to the game itself. I think as long as you can accept that, I suspect a lot of people do take Primarchs doing it. I mean, Rulesly might be a better person to lend us a bit of knowledge on this one, because I know he plays a bit more 30k than we do. Is a Primarch quite a regular thing in a game, or do people typically take more balanced kind of lists? They are. So he says, I don't think they're invincible. They are killable. They are just very hard for non-Primarchs to kill. See that? And I like, the thing is, that sounds, they are pretty rare of it. Okay, see, that's interesting. But I like the fact that they aren't killable by non-Primarchs, because that's kind of how they're portrayed, and that kind of makes sense. If you had a load of people come up against Rogel Dawn, he's not going to be someone who can kind of go, easy. He's going to be someone who's going to be difficult to destroy.
Bit of a handful, some would say.
Yeah, precisely. Right. Anyway, I think we should, because we're getting near the hour here, so we probably should do the.
We should indeed.
Now, I apologise if we lose the footage here, because I've got. Oh, hello! I've just moved the bloody. I'll see if
what army's got lots of twin-linked heavy flamers in? Twin-linked torrent weapons. What army has lots of twin-linked torrent weapons?
Good question. I don't know.
Put it in the chat. Let me know. Just asking for a friend of mine.
Aggressors, yeah, okay.
Interesting.
Right, let me just check how many entries I had, because I just wanted to clarify before I do it. We've got one. Okay, so we actually only had 3 entries this month. This is one of the reasons we expanded the kind of entry requirements, so we let people have an extra couple of weeks or whatever. Obviously, we were supposed to do this last week, but we didn't actually end up doing it because we had a game instead. So, Dom, are we agreed that we're going to have a small break from the painting?
Yes, we're going to have a little break for a bit, level and refresh. Obviously, you are still welcome to chuck hobby project stuff in Discord.
We're not going to stop it. No, I know last time we said this, we stopped for a good while, but we're not going to stop it. We just want to. I think we just want to reevaluate how we're going to do this, because we want to see more of you painting, and I don't know whether we're kind of approaching it in the right way. Maybe I suppose that's the best way of kind of looking at it, because I'm not going to say we don't appreciate the people that enter, but we do have the same people. How do I know what to paint? Don't worry, Jack. If you want a personal one, me and Don can give you personal painting challenges. We can definitely do that. But we're not. Don't worry. We're talking like a month here, if for that long. Just while we think about how we want to structure going ahead, because we just want to. We don't want to be just throwing out random stuff every month and people doing it, because like this particular challenge, we don't know whether it was because the challenge that we set caused the low uptake of it, or if it was because we or just people aren't interested in doing it. But maybe we just want to. We might do some surveys in the Discord to get an idea of what people are kind of wanting to get out of the painting challenges, just so we get a better understanding of your kind of wants. Okay, we do enjoy doing them. We just want to see a bit more uptake in people doing them, and we ultimately we're not trying to force you to do it. We just want to see more. If you think about it here, there's 11 people in the chat at the moment. I know that doesn't sound like a grand amount, but for us that's quite a good evening. That's so bad really if I say it that way, but we would like to say that at least half of you might be interested in doing the painting challenge and actually taking part in it, and so we'd say 5 to 6 at a minimum. So so bear with us anyway. So moving on to what we were doing here, so I can get I'll get the image up for the ones that we've had for this this month here, so bear with me. If it has gone black, I do apologise. I think there's an issue when I unfocus the Discord window. Right, you ready, Dom?
Yep, let's do it.
Here is our first one. Oh my lord, Captain Jack, that is ridiculously big. There we go.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, so just a refresher on what we did ask. It was kind of a knightly theme on the world. We said you could either paint or convert or both. We didn't mind what you did, so we're judging them both on those points there. So This is from Jack, and this was from Perry Miniatures, I think. Is that right? Is it Perry Miniatures?
I do believe
Yeah.
so.
These are the models anyway. So if you're interested in them, I think well, obviously Jack can give you a bit more. Cap Jack can give you a bit more detail on the models because yeah, I think they look really cool.
1459. Oh,
1450.
nice.
That was a long time ago.
What a fine year that was. They look amazing, Jack. I really
Yes.
like them. I love the armor you've done there, and you've got a nice bit of depth, especially on the left guy, on his shoulder armor there. I quite like
Yeah.
the definition. That's very nice.
I think it's one of those
And
things with that style of armor. Ultimately, that's what you're going for. It's kind of a subtle metal because that's all it is really, and I think it's come out really well.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's nice as well, especially the guy next to him as well with the tunic or the clothes over the armor. It's nice when you see the quarter pattern or a half pattern or some form of pattern on clothing. It's a simple thing to do in theory, but it's just still
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
like yeah, it's just doing it. I think is what a lot of people don't tend to get round to doing. So Jack, that's really nice. I'm a big fan. I'd love to see like a big unit of these guys. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board with it. I think I think they're really cool miniatures because they're very different to what we normally see as well, which is a nice thing. And I think the thing I like about it is you have the metal armor, but what I think that kind of flat metal look gives is the other parts of the model stand out more, like the
Hmm.
scabbards, the swords, the tunic, the belts, all those kind of things stand out a bit more on the model as a general whole. So well done. Now we haven't done
Yeah,
this for a
well
while.
done.
We're
Right,
gonna get a
everyone
clap.
ready? Ready? And clap, 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 clap.
All right, so we now have. Let's just make sure we get this. So we're going to do rules lawyers entries. Now I did get a few pictures of these ones because you did very kindly put up a lot of pictures of them. So I didn't want to do them justice. I picked three of the ones that I thought looked quite cool. So we have this little batch of knightly goodness here from I believe your Dark Angels. So this is picture number one. I hope you can see that, Dom.
I can definitely see it, Tom.
Also, Dom, I would like to apologise to you about the thing about the noise in the background. It was not your fault. It was actually my fault.
Oh, I know, Tom. I'm
Do you
willing
want,
to
do you
take
want to know what it was, though? You know when we were playing
uh,
last week, I
yep.
left the mobile mics connector in and unmuted. And I only just noticed this now because I've got such a
Oh,
large list of sources. It was down the bottom of the damn page. So
well, there we go.
So
It's fine, Tom. I forgive
apologies.
you.
I know, but I
No,
don't. Yeah,
accepted.
I don't like to sort of say things, and then if I find out I'm wrong later, I don't like to say apologies. It was actually my fault. So anyway, that is picture number one. We have picture two. I picked another one. This guy looked
More
really cool.
pictures. Yep, nice bit of conversion work there. Well done. Oh, yes. Nice. You
Uh,
don't always
Evolution of
need a
gaming. I'm going to
scroll.
assume you meant simple conversions because what you put there would imply a very different thing.
Yep. No, nice. I like this guy. I love the pose of him. He's quite like a casual kind
No,
of
no,
like
don't.
walk
Sorry,
up,
Dom.
and it's like, yeah, all right, well, I'm here to sort you out one way or another. You are getting sorted out. Just a lever you open with a big sword.
And Evolution Game, it's not a problem, my friend. It just made me chuckle a little bit inside because I like to laugh at these things. Um, and now apologising to a heretic, Tom, the Order Heretic Office will have a lot of discuss with you. I do simp for the lion, that beard, though. Love it. Oh, well done. Well done. And then we have, I've got one more for you, Rules Lawyer. Just this is one of your painted ones because I thought I'd like to, and I think this guy looks really cool.
Yeah, that's nice.
I do love the classic. I really do love the classic Dark Angels armor. I know you were going to do these
Yeah.
guys a little while ago, I say a little
Yeah,
while,
yeah,
quite a
yeah.
while ago, because
Absolutely.
we were actually going to do a night. We were both going to do some 30k stuff, and I was going to do Night Lords, and Don was going to do Dark Angels because we
Dark
thought because
Angels.
they were one of the
Yeah.
obviously confirmed big flashpoints. and we were quite interested in sort of playing out. It never quite materialised because I think both of us ran out of time. But yeah.
And then, yeah, things change with Heresy. But yeah, and the thing is with Dark Angels, in general, we got all the armor's got so much customization on when it comes to painting, and I absolutely love it. I tried to like when we did our little challenge with the Necromunda gangs. I tried to put some of that into my enforcers because I was like, yeah, they're cool. I want to kind of a little bit of heraldry on them, some little bit of customization work. And that's what I love about Dark Angels in general on 30k. I think they're very cool. And that is a very nice model. Good posing there.
Indeed.
So, yeah, they're absolutely lovely.
I do love that Terminator set, to be fair. So,
yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Very prolific as well, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of like always painting, always doing hobby, and a hero of the channel, I would say, to be honest, Tom.
Yes, I would agree. So thank you, Rules Lawyer, and here is your obligatory round of applause.
Ready, everybody? Clap, 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 clap.
I like to think everyone is clapping along at home.
And of course they are.
Like the people that they live with are going, what are they clapping at?
Yeah,
and then we have our last one from Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor.
Here we go.
Oh, hello.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now, I'll do this a little bit. It's unfortunate. I say unfortunate. It's quite a portrait-based picture. So I just want to
put them up and down, Tom.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm going to have to do. I mean, I could shrink it, but I think it would look. I think it would start to look a bit. Oh, yeah, okay, we can just about. There you go. There we are. That is cool enough right there. So yeah, I love the banner on this guy. I think this is a very cool banner. So yeah, I think it lends it to. I know he does look like a kind of a knight bearing a banner into battle, and I love that kind of theme as well. Bet that guy likes flamers.
Yeah, we all like flamers. Now I'm starting to think about it. Twin linked. Yes. So amazing. Like once again, you know, we've kind of seen the painting journey for a lot of people on this channel, and I would say easily this is one of your best models.
I would agree.
Really like it. It's a good model anyway, but then your paint scheme really kind of brings this one to life, especially with the banner there, and it's neat, tidy. It's got a good scheme, a good character, and it's definitely, if I was playing against you, I'd be looking at this.
And I really love the cloak. Bizarrely, I don't know what it is. It's just it's a good color match on that armor. It looks very kind of. It looks like it's supposed to be in the background, but somehow managed to sort of just set off the model quite nicely. So
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, honestly, another hero of the channel. Well done. So everybody, get ready, get those hands warmed up. Here we go. Clap, 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 clap.
So,
well done.
I suppose we have to do the winner out of all of these particular ones. If I've forgotten anyone, by the way, I do apologise, but I could only, it was because it got stretched out a bit. These are the three that I believe were entered. So, anyway, the winner for the challenge this month is. Oh, no, Captain Jack. I've ruined the reveal. I should have resized before doing it. There we go. It's Captain Jack with his knights in armour. So, congratulations.
Well done, Jack.
Yeah. We just thought, to be fair, Captain Jack, why are you always so surprised? They're good. You know, to be fair, all models all the models painted this evening are good. However, from a theme point of view, and what you've done, I think there's some brownie points on that one as well. So I think these came across really nicely for this particular theme and project. So well done. And I'm not taking away from the other two that are entered. They've been fantastic as well. But we just like these ones the best out of all three. So congratulations, and you will get another round of applause now.
Get ready, everyone ready. Come on, clap, come on. Oh, good stuff,
Love
everybody.
it. Let's keep it wholesome.
Yeah. So before we go, last week I had my 83rd Warhost video go up. So everyone, thank you for support on that one. And as I said on there, I will be taking some whip photos later and putting them up on Instagram.
And by the way, that is quite a rare treat from Dom. So make sure you look at them because he never does work in progress photos because he hates them.
Yes, I do.
And unfortunately, it's putting me in a bit of a tight spot because I've got so many models I have not put on my Black Templar videos that I probably should. I'm gonna. What the annoying thing is, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the last 3 to work out where I got to with them, and I've probably got a year's worth of content to put up because I've painted so much since I did my last video. So we'll
Absolutely,
see.
Tom. You have.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, they will be coming out. I'll be doing another one soon, and similar to Tom, because I've been painting so many models, and I was quite lazy, and I didn't do any updates. They will be appearing in future 83rd ones. So even if there's a whip and I haven't finished a model, I'm pretty sure I've got a few in my back catalogue that I can whip out and go, "Da!" So there is plenty of
Hacks,
stuff
cheating.
there, to be going through.
Yeah, and also, yeah, as a friendly neighbourhood inquisitor says there, please do like our stream, and if you haven't subscribed, also do that. And one last chance before we go, because I've still say, if you haven't joined our Discord, and you do have Discord, and you want to come and join our community, click the link, hit join, and I will get you inducted into the Hall of Members very shortly. So there we go, and I think that is a as good as ever point to end it. So
Definitely.
all right,
Cool. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I am always Dom, and this guy over here is.
I'm always Tom, most of the time.
We're Black. And we're Black Toad Studios.
And it's been a
Thank you
pleasure
very much for
talking to
watching,
you.
guys.
We'll speak to you soon. Bye
Take
bye.
care.